How's it going, everyone? And welcome back to the Sleepy Hearth, where today we are doing a card discussion of the currently revealed cards for the main streets of Gadgetzan. I've done card reviews before, but this one's going to be a little bit different. So about half the set has been revealed, and instead of going into super in-depth into each and every single card, we're going to go into super in-depth in the cards that seem interesting, and the other ones we'll just kind of discuss the depth of the value. So you'll see what I'm talking about in just a moment. So let's just get right into it, because we got some things. So first off, for those of you who are slightly out of the loop, I'm sure if you're fans of Hearthstone that you're super caught up, but you'll notice, for example, this card is not per se a neutral card. This one has yellow, red, and green as a banner on it. So what does that mean? Well, for the first time we're seeing cards that could be used by certain classes only. So this one's Paladin, Warrior, Hunter. It's sort of neutral, but not. It can only be used by certain classes. It'll be interesting to see how that actually sorts out in the menu itself when it comes down to pass. I'm willing to bet it'll just show up in the Paladin, Warrior, and Hunter section instead of being in like the neutral section for the classes that you pick. But I don't know. It depends on how they sort it. So first on the list, we have our Grimy Goons, and we have Don Honcho. So as we see here, the 7 mana 5/6, but his battle cry is give a random minion in your hand +5/+5. Yes, I can't wait for this. This one, like the day I saw it, I was super excited. It's probably one of my favorite cards of the set so far. So I'm probably going to be using this in Buff Pally for sure. I can't really imagine a deck this wouldn't go into, except for maybe super aggro things. But depending on how aggro actually takes a turn, who knows? Aggro might not be as big of a thing in the upcoming expansion, though that's always the hope. So some of the comments down here. This will be insane with charge minions. Yep. Let's see. Could fit into a Cthulhu deck, maybe. That thing. Yep. So anyway, not too much to really discuss. It's just it's got a really good battle cry, and the stats aren't terrible. 7 mana 5/6 for what you get out of it, pretty good. Problem is it's random, so you don't want to have too big of a hand, and you don't want it to fall into something useless. So you're going to want to try to play around that. But other than that, it should be fine. You know, good card. Let's move on. So now we have the Grim Street Smuggler. So far it is just a miniature version of what we just saw. Give a random in your hand, +1/+1, 3 mana 2/4. This one I'm not sure if I'm going to use, just because the value isn't bad, but for what you get out of it, I'm not really seeing it. You know, for it to take up a card slot, it's going to be kind of a tough one. The only thing I can see is if you combo this with a Brand's Bronbeard on like a turn 6 or 7. I think Brand's 3 mana. He might be 4 mana. So, you know, turn 6 or 7 play. It might not be the worst thing, but still, gonna keep on moving on. And then, of course, we have Green Street Informant. Battle card, discover a Hunter, Paladin, or Warrior card. I can definitely see this being pretty good. You know, it's kind of like a one thing. The 2 mana 1/1 that already does discover a 3-cost card. So if you're really clinching for some class specific cards in whatever deck you're playing, I think that's going to be a pretty good deal, because that way you tone down the randomness from getting any card to certain cards that you could want, and once again comboing with a Bronze Beard, so it's just a good time. So I could definitely see this being in some play. I probably won't use it in the Buff Pally deck, and that's kind of what I'm basing a lot of this off of me, or you know, for me specifically, that's my favorite deck to play, as you guys probably can tell by how many times I uploaded onto my channel. But yeah, so we'll just keep going from there. Plus, you know me, I don't really play a lot of Warrior Hunter, so we'll just keep it on going. Alright, now we have the Cabal. The Cabal cards are used by Warlock, Mages, and Priests. So let's go ahead and open all of these. And then first let's get on to Gadgetzan. I think that's how you pronounce it. Alright, so this is a 4 mana 3/3 Battlecry, if your deck contains no duplicates, create a custom spell. So that's one thing that I don't know how I feel about this whole shebang, is there's going to be a lot of Reno Jackson style decks where it's going to be a lot of things based off of no duplicates. And I think that could be good because it kind of keeps decks interesting. But at the same time, I don't know. I kind of like being able to run a lot of 2-ofs, especially in certain things that I'm going for. But I guess it depends on what cards I open. So maybe, maybe not. I mean, there are a lot of cards in the game now, especially if playing Wild. So there is more room for 1-ofs. You don't really necessarily have to rely on having 2 of something when you can have 2 different cards that will kind of get you to the same place that you want. So, sorry to ramble on about that. Back to Gadgetzan here. Alright. Create a custom spell. And I think if we scroll down, we actually get to see what that is. Somewhere. Yeah, unfortunately we need that custom spell. Maybe it's under the discuss tab. Usually people in the comments have it. I'm very thrown off now. Where is it? Where's our spell? Unfortunately, I do not have it. Crazy, I know. I could watch this. So let's see it in action. What do we get out of it? Okay. So create a 1-cost spell, create a 5-cost spell. Oh my. So many things. So this is what you get to see in action. You know what? Screw it. So this is what we get out of the deal. So wait, you get those 3 effects? Oh, what? Okay, so he created a spell. Let's review that one more time, because I really didn't get what was going on. I'm gonna leave the sound off. So I think you get to pick from a slew of effects. So the first part is create a 1-cost spell. Okay. Okay, so he's creating a 10-cost. That's what he's doing. Cool. And the first thing it's going to do is he's going to pick that. What were the other options again? Copy 3 cards from your opponent's deck, put them in your hand, deal 6 damage to all minions, or draw 3 cards. Alright. And then summon 3 friendly minions that die this game, gain 10 armor, or transform all minions into 1/1 sheep. Alright. So far he's stacking up a second effect. And I think that's it. So now, when he plays the card next turn, the potion he created was deal 6 damage and summon 3 friendly minions that died. That's a pretty good combo, because if you end up killing your own, then well, there you go. That's a pretty sweet combo. So that's how that works. That is insane. Gonna love it. It's kind of like that one dude from League of Explorers. The dude that lets you, the Rafam. I don't know why I call him Rafam. Rafam, it's like that, but I'm correct. Cabal Chemist. Battlecry, add a random potion to your hand. The potions are as such. Potion polymorph after your opponent plays a minion, transform to 1/1 sheep. Oh, that's pretty cool. Let's see. And the potions are based off the class. So we have Potion of Madness. Gain control of an enemy with 2 attack or less till the end of turn. Give all enemy minions -3. Or deal 5 damage to all minions except dragons. And then for mages, it's deal 2 damage to all minions. And then the one we just discussed right here. If you're a warlock, you're either going to get Blood Fury potion, which is really good. Give a minion +3 attack. And if it's a demon, also give it +3 health. It's kind of like I'm trying to think. I think there was another rogue card that did something similar. Fill fire potion, deal 5 damage to all characters. So there we go. It's pretty good, and it's a 4-mana 3/3, so it's not terribly statted. So usually you would see like a 4-mana 4/5 if you're comparing to Chowan Yeti, but for what you get, I think it's really good. So I think we're going to see a lot of good play out of this one. I can see this being in a lot of decks. And then finally, Cabal Courier, Battlecry, discover a Mage, Priest, or Warlock card. So 3-mana 2/2, which is basically a bigger brother version of, or bigger sister in this case, of the 2-mana 1/1 Battlecry. So I could see this being pretty good. I like the stats a little bit more. So we'll just see how it works. in the future. But imagine, for example, if you discover, I wonder if this will possibly have a, what's it called? Tomb Spider effect where it could discover itself. Alright. Moving on. And then we only have one of the Druid, Rogue, and Shaman cards revealed at this time. And that's going to be the Lotus Agents. And that is a 5 mana, 5/3, Discover a Druid, Rogue, or Shaman card. So this one's statted a little bit different, which I find kind of interesting. I think it has much better stats than the other ones, even though it has 3 health. Just having something with a 5 attack on the board is not necessarily a bad thing. All basically considering how a lot of cards are statted right now to have more effects than to have health. I think with the current meta of things the way they are, having something with a higher attack than health is not entirely uncommon. So, good on you. Hopefully you'll get to see some good play out of this. Alrighty. Now we're on to the Druid cards. I might have to split this video up into 2 different parts just because, my god, I'm starting to feel it. Done so much talking, and I just did a Hearthstone video before this. So let's go ahead and open up all these. Well, at least try to get through Druid, Hunter, and Mage. Or should it be Druid, Hunter, and Paladin? Or no, not. I was trying to think of like the neutral thing. I'm not going to go in that order though. We're just going to go in the order of discussed here. Alright. Kun the Forgotten King. Oh, this one is absolutely insane. Choose one. Gain 10 armor or refresh your mana crystals. Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and say that refreshing your mana crystals is going to see a lot of play. This looks nuts. I think a lot of people are going to love this. So, there's the big art version of it. Ooh, someone just make a point. I don't know how they would do it, though. Aviana combined with this. I think it would be okay, but I don't know. But, yeah. So, for those Druids who never want to stop playing their cards, this is definitely the card for you. The stats aren't necessarily bad. I don't play enough Druid to really know the combos and ins and outs of it, but just by itself, it's pretty insane. I have a feeling that 10 armor would be good in some situations, but mostly it's probably going to be just refreshing your mana crystals. Alright. Lunar Visions. Draw 2 cards. Minions drawn cost 2 less. Yeah, I mean, for a 5 cost, it's not too bad. I guess if you don't have a lot of spells, this would be worth doing. So if you think about it, it's like a 3 mana draw 2, but the chance that 2 of the things that you draw are reduced by 2. So if you get 2 minions, it's the equivalent of spending 7 mana out over 2 turns. In my head, that made sense. I guess if you were thinking it out the way I was. So, 5 mana to play it, which is 2 mana already extra you're spending on drawing 2 cards. But you could save that and potentially 2 more by drawing another minion on top of that. So you are basically gambling with saving mana or not. It's kind of the thing here. I don't know if I'd play something like this, but I guess once again depends on what I'd open and what I have. So this may or may not see play. Not to mention reducing the cost of a minion in general is just a really good thing. So, but it might also end up being very similar to Farsight, but I think this card might outweigh that in value overall. So I'm willing to bet this would see play over Farsight because Farsight is never played. All right. Pilfered Power. Gain an empty mana crystal for each friendly minion. This is absolutely insane. This is crazy. This needs to cost more. Like, I don't know how Blizz thought 3 for this was good. Like, you could easily ramp up to a crazy amount on either turn 3, 4, or whatever. Imagine jumping from 3 mana up to 6 mana. And then the following turn you actually make a turn, you'd be already at 7. So you'd be at 7 mana on turn 3, or turn 4. That's nuts. Absolutely nuts. So, yeah. I don't know. It's crazy. I think it needs to be at least a 4. So, that's my personal opinion. It's just so good. Alright. Now we have the Jade Blossom, 3 mana. Summon a Jade Golem. Gain an empty mana crystal. What does the Jade Golem look like? Anyone have it down here? I could really use some help with that golem. Someone please tell me what the hell the Jade Golem is. It's a 2/2 minion apparently. It's definitely not whatever that is. Oh well, no one's got it in the chat. It's fine. If it's just a 2/2 minion, it's basically a 3 mana, 2/2, gain an empty mana crystal. Sounds good to me. Not bad at all. Mark of the Lotus. Give your minions +1/+1. So it's just like a small version of that other card that already exists. And it's also without the option to choose which one you want. The summon, the 3/2, or give all your minions +1/+1. I like this one. It's pretty good. We might see a buff Druid in our near future if we keep seeing more buff cards from the Druid side of things. It's the only reason I never really cared about making a buff Druid deck in the style that I've done buff Pally, because Druid buffs aren't as interesting to me. Alright. So we got all these. Alrighty. Now we're on to the Hunter. Let's go ahead and open them all up. Definitely got a lot of interesting things from Hunter coming up. Probably a lot more yet to come. Alrighty, so we have Knuckles. This dude right here is a 5 mana 3/7 legendary. After this attacks a minion, it also hits the enemy hero. I personally like it. I think it's really interesting. Cards that have really interesting mechanics always interest me a lot. I know there's been a lot of quirky Hunter cards before that do a lot of crazy things that never really see play because straight up aggro usually just takes the field. But I think if we see more control Hunter, we might see this have some play. Hunters don't have a ton of buffs as far as I remember. They have some, but my concern would be keeping Knuckles alive. So you might see this in a trap deck, because if you can keep Knuckles alive, whatever the enemy throws out, you throw Knuckles at it, and that way you can also hit face while clearing the board. So I like it. I think it's going to see some decent play. Maybe not tons, but hopefully somebody will use it. Alright. Now we have the Piranha Launcher. 5 mana 2/4. After your hero attacks, summon a 1/1 Piranha. This card, my friend of mine loves this card, and I think it's pretty good too, because you get quite the potential to do a lot of stuff here. Summon out tons of minions, and have a weapon that can attack 4 times. It's pretty good value. I mean, a 5 mana 2/4 by itself isn't the worst. It's not the best, but it's probably not the worst. But in general, yeah, I think this is going to be pretty good. The only thing I don't really like about it is, depending on how many Hunter weapons you use, having something with 4 takes up a lot going on, but I don't know. But if piranhas count as beasts, oh man, Beast Hunter reigns supreme. You better watch out. Alright, and the Rat Pack. Death Rattle, summon a number of 1/1 rats equal to this minion's attack. Huh. Well, it is a beast, so if you boost up your beasts, aka this guy, you're going to see some interesting play. So this is instant good value. This is great value, really, because if you think about it, you have Houndmaster, and it gives something +2/+2 with taunt. So yeah, insane already. Let's see. I think he has a little fedora up there. Can't really tell. Doesn't even look that much like a rat, to be honest. But I'm gonna go out on a limb and say sure. Looks like a rat to me. Alright, Dispatch Godo. Battle Cry. Deal damage equal to this means attack. Oh yeah, I forgot to take into account all the other cards that will boost things in your hand. So that one guy that we first discussed, +5/+5. Imagine having that with Dispatch Godo. Yeah, that'd be pretty insane. And I'm sure that since only half the set's been revealed, we're going to see a lot more cards that buff cards in hand, and so on. So this one's pretty good. I mean, even if you don't buff it, its effect is pretty well statted. To me, it's like it's actually the opposite, if you think about it, of Stormpike Commando, which I think is a 4 mana 4/2, deal 2 damage. So it's 4 mana 2/4, deal at least 2 damage. So yeah, pretty good. Loving it. Alright. Trog Beast Rager. Battlecry, give a random beast in your hand +1/+1. So there we go, already doing the hand buff thing. And it's a 2 mana 3/2, which is amazing stats as as it is already. I'm kind of surprised that it's not a 2 mana 2/1 with that, but I guess I could see why. It's because it's not super crazy and it is beast specific, so that would do it. So yeah, I like it. It's just an overall well stated card with a good effect, and of course, combo with Bran. You got combos for days. So there we are. And then finally, Shaky Zip Gunner. It's going to be Death Rattle, give a random minion in your hand +2/+2. So this one's not beast specific, but the Hunter is definitely getting a lot of these hand buff deals. So I have a feeling we're going to see some really, really cool Hunter decks coming in the future, and I might actually start playing Hunter a lot more. Alright. So I think my voice is screaming for me to have a break. It's kind of hard for me to talk even though I'm sipping tea, clearing my throat every minute or two. So I think we're going to split this video up here, and then we're going to try to finish it out on another day. I'm going to go take a small break. But anyway, thank you guys so much for... Oh, let me get up here. There it is. Thank you guys so much for supporting me at patreon.com/thesleepyhearth. So I don't know if it's going to change, but by the time this video goes up, but as of today, as of this recording, got 2 patrons. Loving it so far. You guys are awesome. I don't know if people want to be specifically shouted out or not. We'll get to that at a later time. But yeah, every little bit helps. And even if you want to donate but are unable to do so, one of the things you can do is if you leave a comment or if you hit like, every little bit goes towards those YouTube analytics and will actually help boost the value of each video. So keep that in mind. And also, if you disable ad block for YouTube, that'll help a ton too. So if you use ad block, disable it on YouTube. Honestly, like, YouTube's the least egregious because most of them you can skip the ads, and a lot of them don't even have very long ads to begin with. It helps all your favorite YouTubers. So if you just take it off for YouTube, don't use ad block on it. I know ads suck, but honestly, it's how a lot of your favorite YouTubers get paid. A lot of them have moved over to sponsorships because things like ad block and YouTube, cutting down how much they pay out in general. But yeah, and every little bit counts. So all right, my voice is killing itself here. So I'm gonna talk to you guys later. I love you, and I hope you have a good night.